NASCAR reinstates Noah Gragson, RCR swaps out Kyle Busch's pit crew, and whose arm is this? That's who's driving for Kaulig Racing in the Cup Series next year. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. We've got a packed midweek edition of the show in store for y'all today. First, though, if you're new to the channel and you love NASCAR, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of the latest news, rumors, or race recaps I do every Sunday, or in this case, this coming weekend, every Saturday night. Let's dive right in. First and foremost, last night, NASCAR officially reinstated Noah Gragson. NASCAR released a short statement saying that Noah Gragson has completed the diversity and inclusion training they require, and they have decided to reinstate him effective immediately. Now, Noah Gragson released his own statement. I want to express my sincere gratitude to NASCAR for reinstating me. Over the past several weeks, I've dedicated myself to personal growth and reflection, and I believe I've become a better person because of it. I couldn't have done it without the support of my family and the NASCAR industry. I am now more focused and committed than ever to representing my future team in the best way possible. I'm eager to get back behind the wheel and compete at the highest level, giving it my all on and off the track. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of this journey, and I can't wait to make the most of this second chance. Bob Pockers from Fox Sports reported that Noah will race an ASA Super Late Model event this Saturday night at Toledo Speedway in Ohio. That's not a NASCAR sanctioned event, but still, it's good to hear that Noah will be back behind the wheel sooner rather than later. This is all good. What was it, like 3 days ago? I was calling on NASCAR to be more public about the reinstatement process. Well, they gave me what I asked for. Better a little late than never. I'm also glad to know that they were working with Noah behind the scenes, because while what Noah did on social media was dumb, showed immaturity, demonstrated a severe lack of awareness, I don't think it justified a season-ending suspension. When NASCAR hung that indefinite label over his suspension, I didn't know what that meant. I'm happy that Noah Gragson completed the process. He's been reinstated. I hope he's truly learned from his mistake. Because again, if you're going to represent multi-million-dollar race teams, a multi-million-dollar corporation like NASCAR and the many million-dollar corporations that support it, you have to be very careful with how you present yourself on social media. Social media can be a great tool. Believe me, I know. My entire professional life exists on social media. But with that great power comes great responsibility, especially if you have the kind of platform Noah Gragson has. I'm glad he's been reinstated. Having talked to Noah here and there the last few years, I think he's genuinely a good guy. I think he means well. Not everyone's going to love his big personality all the time, but I do hope he's back in NASCAR sooner rather than later. I don't expect him to just jump right back into the Cup Series. If he's back in NASCAR next year, it'll be either a Truck or Xfinity Series team. I don't have any solid guesses at this point, but I do hope someone signs him. He's too talented to not be racing. Let's move on. Chris Rice, team president for Kaulig Racing, is teasing us at this point. He posted this photo to X showing his arm on the right, shaking hands with an unknown driver on the left. The post is simply labeled Friday, so it sounds like we will know at least part of Kaulig Racing's Cup Series plans in the next couple of days. But that has not stopped the internet from trying to decipher this puzzle early. My girlfriend even was digging through drivers' Instagrams, and she was trying to point out this freckle on the arm that matches Daniel Hemrick. The hairiness of the arm certainly seems to match Daniel Hemrick. Daniel Hemrick drives for Kaulig and Xfinity. He's been rumored as a favorite to land one of their Cup Series cars. So, based on this photo, my girlfriend's FBI-style sleuthing skills, Daniel Hemrick is likely the driver pictured there, but I'm basing this off arm hair and barely visible freckles. It's not exactly the most scientific or even journalistic approach to this. So we'll just wait until Friday, but more than likely it'll be Daniel Hemrick. He's raced in the Cup Series before. He's won a NASCAR Xfinity Series championship. Let's not discredit that. Not the flashiest pick for the Cup Series, but he's a solid driver. He's older now, more experienced. If in fact Daniel Hemrick goes Cup racing, I'll be curious to see what he can do. If he can build off his 2019 rookie season. Man, that was already 4 years ago now. Goodness. One driver whose arm does not match that photo is Zane Smith, unless he grew a ton of arm hair over the summer. Zane Smith appeared on Sirius XM NASCAR radio today and confirmed he has a deal done for 2024. He said, quote, "My deal is done and I know what I'm doing. Hopefully the news will come out this week or sometime soon. We're working hard on getting an announcement out. It was signed last week. It's everything I ever wanted and I'm super excited for it." He did say potentially this week. Maybe that is Zane Smith's arm in that photo. I don't think so. Either way, Zane Smith close to announcing his 2024 plans, and he says in that quote there, it's everything he ever wanted. Zane Smith has made it clear this year he does not want to keep racing in the Truck Series. He's ready to move on and hopefully race on Sundays. He's made that clear to Front Row Motorsports. I think everyone gets that at this point. So to hear Zane Smith say it's everything he ever wanted, to me that sounds like a Cup Series deal. Might not be. Maybe it's Xfinity. Maybe it's something we're not thinking of, but more than likely this means Zane Smith will be in Cup. But driving for who? Bob Pockrass wrote an article for Fox Sports. I'll put a link to the full article down in the description below, sort of his silly season roundup. And there's a couple sentences in this article that I want to read to you. He talks about some of the teams Zane Smith has talked to, and there was one in particular that caught my attention. Bob Pockrass writes, "Smith has talked to several Cup teams, including Trackhouse Racing, according to sources. But Trackhouse doesn't have a spot for him in 2024, so any deal with Trackhouse would likely be a situation where he is leased out to another team for next season, possibly Cup or Xfinity." Trackhouse, the only team there mentioned by name. Could Zane Smith be Trackhouse's next development driver? The idea of leasing drivers out to other teams has been done before. I can think of Eric Jones, I think was technically signed with Joe Gibbs Racing, but his rookie season, he was leased out to Furniture Row, a satellite team. I think Chris Buescher was technically always under contract with Roush. They were just leasing him to JTG Doherty, and then eventually they made that like weird trade with Ricky Stenhouse, basically. I could be wrong about that. But no, the idea of leasing a driver out to a different team, potentially even a different manufacturer, is not too uncommon, or it's not, that rare. It's happened before. That would be really interesting though. If Zane Smith were to sign some sort of deal with Trackhouse where maybe he gets leased out to another Cup team, like, who knows, maybe Aspire. I mean, that's at least they're a Chevy team just like Trackhouse, although Carson Hocevar is rumored to drive the 77 next year. Maybe Kaulig. Heck, maybe he is going to drive for Kaulig next year. Maybe it won't be the 31 though. Maybe he'll drive the 16 and they'll announce it at a later date. It's another Chevy team, maybe a little more competitive than Spire. Maybe. But either way, the only team in Cup with an open seat that's even remotely as competitive as Trackhouse is probably Stewart-Haas Racing. And I say that, with a grimace. Eric Almirola more than likely won't be returning next year. Could Zane be leased out to the 10 car? Would Stewart-Haas Racing, a key partner team with Ford, be willing to take a Chevy driver who's technically under contract with a key partner Chevy team? I don't think so. I guess it's possible. I don't know. I'll be really curious to see what Zane Smith decides, because if his goal ultimately is to race for Trackhouse one day, he's banking on Justin Marks and Ty Norris and company acquiring a third charter from somewhere. And those things could be going for $30, $40, $50 million a piece. I know Justin Marks and them swooped in and bought a whole race team a couple of years ago. Do they have enough cash in their back pocket for a third charter? I'm skeptical. We'll see where Zane Smith ends up. Man, it's so wide open at this point. I think he could be anywhere. Let's not even rule out Front Row. Front Row has considered opening a third car for him. It would probably depend on sponsorship. Again, they'd like a third charter, probably can't find one. So that's a long shot perhaps, but I think Zane Smith's future at this point is wide open. Xfinity is still on the table. Heck, even trucks are still on the table in my opinion, but Zane says it's everything he hoped this deal would be. Hopefully we find out what exactly it is soon. Last story, just want to touch on this real quick. I saw, again, Bob Pockrass, Fox Sports, reported this afternoon. Over-the-wall pit crew swap for Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch starting this weekend at Bristol with Busch in the playoffs. Tire changers, carrier, and jack swap. Fueler remains the same. I have not seen any official statement from the team yet explaining exactly why this move is being made, but of course, Kyle Busch is in the playoffs. Austin Dillon is not. If the team feels that Austin Dillon has a better pit crew, they'd like to put that crew on the car that's actually racing for something right now. Same thing Joe Gibbs Racing tried to do with Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs not in the playoffs, had the third or fourth best ranked pit crew all regular season. They moved that team over to the 20. It has not worked out these first 2 weeks for the 20 team. They've been a disaster. But on paper, it should work. RCR making this decision, it's best for their company. I get it. I haven't been able to find any conclusive data. I don't know how much faster, if at all, the 3 team has been than the 8 this year. I was reading some comments from Kyle Busch fans earlier who said that this past weekend at Kansas, Kyle Busch's pit crew did struggle quite a bit. I don't know if that was just a one-off bad race or if that's indicative of sort of a pattern this year. Either way, RCR making this change. Let's hope it works out better for them than it's worked for Christopher Bell and JGR so far. All I know as it pertains to Kyle Busch is that it's not the pit crew's fault they've started in last the first 2 playoff races. The 8 team has run pretty well around like 8th to 10th place the last couple weeks, but they keep having issues on Saturday that cause them to start at the back and keep them from collecting early stage points. That's not the pit crew's fault. So maybe the pit crew had a bad race. Maybe they've had an inconsistent season. Maybe this is a good decision by the team. We'll have to wait and see. Kyle Busch fans, let me know down in the comments below. Has the 8 team struggled this year, or is this move being made out of the blue, out of nowhere? Let me know down in the comments below. But that is going to do it for this episode, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton and you won't miss any upcoming episodes. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and as always, a huge thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. I will see you all again tomorrow. Remember, it's a short week. Trucks are racing tomorrow night, Thursday night at Bristol, Friday night Xfinity, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the entry list, and Saturday night, the Bristol night race, one of my favorite nights of the year. I cannot wait. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see you again really soon.